you a new base builder or just learning out how to build and want to improve your game? Then this video is for you, because let's go find out how you can use the skeleton base pack to your advantage and get better base results. Hey, what's going on everybody? Hope you're having a good day, and today we will be looking at and exploring the skeleton base pack. And when you open up a skeleton base pack, you might be a little bit curious as to what is actually happening because it's not a fully completed base. And this pack is oriented towards new base builders or those who are trying to get better at base building, to learn how to fundamentally place their key defenses and also improve their base building in general. So what I mean by this is that this base pack is basically going to teach you how you can get started on a base, but then it's up to you to finish the base actually by itself. So as we can see, this is a perfect example of one of the skeleton base packs that were, and this is one of the bases that were actually included in one of them a few months ago. So let's look into it and break down exactly how you can complete this base and what exactly to do to get started. So getting started, I would like to talk about all of this garbage around the base. So the first thing you want to do is exclude and erase off all of the perimeter of the base, as this is important because you're not going to be wanting to need this at all. You're just going to get rid of everything and then you're going to place it by yourself, and that's where the fun comes into it. So we're going to delete all of the perimeter of the base. That's where all of the buildings that you will be placing will be located on all types of bases that are in the skeleton pack. And let's quickly also get rid of the traps here. And sometimes there won't be enough room on the perimeter of the base, so the base builder might put some defenses in the middle of the compartment, like these two cannons. You can tell they're not supposed to belong there because there's all the Teslas and bombs around it. So we're just going to get rid of that as well. Quickly get rid of these air bombs as well. And that's step one when it comes down to these skeleton base pack bases. And once you have everything cleared out, you're going to want to look at the base. So there's several different base styles. Obviously, you have the ring base, you have the diamond base, you have a box base, and you also have an anti 3-star base style. So when it comes to the skeleton packs, the styles may vary, but my personal favorite, and like as we see on this base, it's going to be a diamond base. And the reason why I think the diamond base is so important, especially for new base builders and those who want to improve, is that it basically teaches you how to build symmetrically, but also keeps a sense of knowing how you should spread your damage out evenly across the base and what you want to have in key places like the scatter shot and the key defenses where you want them to be on the base. So looking at this base here, let's just see what's already been put down to us by the base builder. And we can see that we've got a great start. We have one side, on the right side, we have everything placed for us relatively where we want it to be, that the base builder wants it to be. And we also have all of our walls down, which is the hardest part of base building. So all good, let's get into this. And the first thing that we're going to be looking at is the line of symmetry. So on this base, we can very easily draw out that the line of symmetry is on the left and the right. So the middle includes the eagle, the monolith, the builder hut, the town hall, and the inferno tower. So that's basically our line of symmetry. So everything on the right side of the base and on the left side of the base of that line of symmetry will be relatively the same, if not the same. So as we can see here, the base builder definitely wants us to build a base symmetrically, because we can see that the rage towers have been placed in the exact same spots as on each side, obviously. And it's obviously clear to us that we're going to be building a symmetrical style base on the left and right side. So getting started, let's use what we already have put down on the other side, which is the right side, which is more completed, and we're going to just shift that over to the left side. So looking at this cannon here, we know that there's also going to be a cannon here. So let's just place it down And then we also see that there's a scatter shot here, so we're going to put in scatter shot there. And last but not least, we see that there's an expo there, so we are going to put an expo there, set that to ground like the base builder wants us to have. And before we get further into this, keep in mind that this is all for inspiration and learning purposes, so you can definitely get creative with the bases that you make, and you can claim them to be your own bases, which is the best part of the skeleton base pack, because it's not a fully completed base that you just bought. It's a base that you are finishing and that you're actually developing as you go through and remove all the defenses and place them where you want them to be. So that's kind of the good thing about this pack. That's really something that I find very unique, and that's really going to help you excel your game as a base builder. And now let's just continue on with the base, less yapping, more doing. So we got the left and right side scatter shot, rage tower compartment all done. We can see the archer towers are both there as well, but we're also missing an expo up here, so we'll just put that there. So noticing the line of symmetry, everything on the right side is officially on the left side as well. So we have officially done whatever the base builder had originally gave us to work with on both sides. So now, how do you progress with the rest of the base? And this is where you're going to have to use all your base building knowledge that you already may have or you're trying to have. So you can always learn from mistakes on these types of bases, because you're developing the base. It's your base that you're making, so you can always change whatever you want to change on the base. So if you don't like the scatter shot being here, switch it around, put it there, and it'll still be covered in the rage tower. Obviously, you're just switching it around. But for the sake of this video, we are going to be keeping true to what the base builder gave us to work with, and we will complete the base therefore. And getting into the rest of the base, what I usually like to do is start with my air defenses and just finding out where the best place to put them is. And I relatively like to put them in equal parts of the base. So what I mean by this is, obviously I'm going to put them in symmetrical spots on all throughout the base, but I want them to be evenly spread out throughout the base so that there's enough air damage around the base, if that makes sense. So on this base, I think I would put an air defense here just because it looks nice over there, and I'll put another air defense here just because it looks nice over there, because it looked nice on the right side. It's gotta look nice on the left side because we're keeping it symmetrical, remember that. So now I could get creative. I can put an air defense up here and then also put the same air defense down here, but I see that there's a warden statue down there, so that really messed with the line of symmetry. Kind of want to avoid that, so I'll just stick to putting the air defense up here for now. So let's just do that really quick. Put it right there. So there we go. That's our air defenses. Now, another key thing that I want you guys to take note of, because this personally I think is just like a general rule for myself at least, and that is the fact that I want to have archer towers on all perimeters. So I'm going to put an archer tower on this corner, same thing on this side, and then I have two more, and I think I'm just going to put them down here because we don't have those air defenses down here. So I think it's better to include some archer towers down here to cover up for that. And while we're down here, I think I'm just going to drop a few builder huts, because I can see my other 3 builder huts are pretty evenly spread out on all sides of the base, but there's really nothing down here. Oops. There's nothing really down here with builder hut coverage wise, so we're just going to put 2 builder huts down here to cover that as well. You guys can look more deep into base building tips and tricks and how you can actually get started on it in some of our other videos that I'll have linked down below. But for the sake of this video, again, we're just going to be looking at some general rules that I like to implement and that you can also implement. But just remember, this is all about getting creative and seeing what your style of base building really is. This serves as a guideline, but not necessarily a strict one. This is just inspiration for you to continue and make something out of another builder's work. But it's actually your work, because you're the one completing the base. They're just helping you get some inspiration. And that's why this pack is great. So, enough talking about the pack. Let's talk about the base. What are we going to be looking at next? And I feel like always I want to have 2 storages in the scattershot compartments, just because the scattershot compartments are very crucial to this base, especially because they're taking care of the flanks. And realize how I put my storages here? I don't want them to be touching each other, because then the King Gauntlet equipment can actually splash and kill both storages in one shot, which is not good. So keep in mind that in these compartments, you want to make sure that your storages are not touching each other. This goes for as many buildings as possible that you have on the base. Don't have them touching each other, especially on these flanks. So nah, we gotta do that. We gotta keep it symmetrical, just like we said. Not a big deal, but just for the aesthetics, we're gonna be doing that. So moving on, let's talk about our wizard towers. I just like to spread them out. I like to have some near the air defenses so that they can quickly kill the lava pups that come out. Like if a hound was to target the air defense and the hound dies on the air defense, wizard towers are usually a good point where you can get some splash on the lava pups or the balloons nearby that are trying to take out that air defense. That's why I like them down here. I'll just put one more wizard tower down here as well. And now for the bomb towers, I feel like what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna have them on either end of the town hall to protect it from like front super archer blimps. Nothing really crazy. I'm just trying to spread out the damage on the base as much as possible. I see that there's a good amount down here at 6 o'clock. There's a good amount down here, down on the right side over here with the right o'clock, and the left o'clock, 9 o'clock, yes. So we're gonna put some damage at 12. Let's get a cannon up there as well, and we're gonna put 2 more storages. All good. And now we can get started with the perimeter of the base again that we're going to be working around. That was originally deleted, and then no way was that supposed to help you, because that was meant to be deleted. So we're just going to get our our mortars down near our wizard towers, just because I like to have the mortars near something, just so it messes up with the pathing or something. It doesn't really matter much where you put the mortars in this meta. I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I'll just keep it real. So that's why it's not really that important where you put them. It's still nice to know generally where to put them. That's why I just like to use them to mess up the root rider pathing, which I did talk about in a video earlier as well. I'll leave that link down below as well. There's gonna be a lot of links down there probably this video, but it'll help you out if you are really trying to improve your base building game, and that's why we're here today as well. So let's finish up on this base. We're quickly gonna just place down the trash building. This is not really something that you have to keep symmetrical wise. Like, we don't need to be completely symmetrical with our trash building. Like, I know I'm not at all. Like, it doesn't really matter that much to me, just because it's trash building, right? So you're just trying to get the buildings down on the map at that point, because the main base is pretty much done. So we're just going to quickly go through here. I'm just going to be trying to cover as much of the perimeter as possible with the trash buildings, and then we'll talk about the traps, which I like to place after we are done with the trash. So quickly going to flash forward into future me when I'm done with placing all of these trash buildings, and then we'll talk about the traps. So let's go. Alright guys, here we are done with the trash building. That was a tedious task, but all good. We kept it relatively simple. As you can see, we covered all of the perimeter of the base, no holes allowed. So that's not necessarily a big deal. I just like to keep it like that, just so it looks nice and clean. So that's just my style of building. What's your style? Let me know down below in the comments. But let's go and talk about the traps. So there is a completely different video dedicated to traps as well, if you are willing to learn in depth about the traps. But remember, this video is about the skeleton pack, and we're going to be talking about the traps. So most of the time, the base builder will not leave you any of the Teslas or bombs in relatively already placed places in the map, because they're just going to be, it all depends on how you finish the base, right? So you can't put traps before you're actually done with the base. So that's why the base builder puts them on the outside, so that you can determine where you want your traps to be. So just looking at this base, some things that I look at when I'm placing my Teslas is where does it lack damage. And looking at this base, I think that's gotta be the 12 o'clock side, because we have 2 heavy rage tower compartments on the left and right side of the base, and we have a heavy 6 o'clock. There's a king, warden, archer towers, clan castle, eagle. There's a lot of stuff down there, right? But compared to the top, it's absolutely nothing. So there's nothing up here, so we got to do something about it. And that's why I'm just going to be placing the Teslas here. very simply just trying to keep it symmetrical, evenly spreading out the Teslas. And some good things to talk about when I put the Teslas is that it's always good to have like a skeleton trap on each side, and these will be set to ground. Due to the meta being so root rider heavy, I do not think it is worth putting any air skeleton traps. So we're putting them in ground, and that's why we will be going over here and putting down some little bombs as well, as that can always help take out some nearby, whether it be just trying to have some super barbs pick off the Teslas and stuff. So that's why I like to put some little bombs, even like spring traps. Yeah, I think I would rather put some spring traps here as well to take care of them. And that's pretty much it for the Teslas. Let's get into the seeking air mines. So with these, I like to always just put them nearby the air defense. That's just my type of style. So I'm just gonna have some by the air defense, and then I also like to have some in the core, keeping it symmetrical, just plopping them down relatively where I think the dragons or any air troops might path to. And this is where you have to go to testing. Like when you test the base, that's when you relatively get a better idea of what the path of the dragons or the air attack you might be trying to stop is. So let's get into the bombs. We're going to be talking about the bombs, and this honestly depends on what you're trying to defend, because if you're trying to defend super archer blimps, it would be great to put like a bomb here, but if you're trying to defend like root riders, I think it's always good to have bombs near the rage tower compartments like this. So I know most of us are probably trying to defend root riders, so I will be putting bombs in the rage tower compartments here, because I think that's what the style, that's what the meta currently is, so that's what I need to adapt to with my base building style. So for the remainder of my bombs, I'm just going to stack them in this rage tower compartment, because that's where the most damage is, and if there's more bombs, you add to the damage. Even if they go into one side, they're going to have to end on another heavy back end. So that's why we have one odd bomb left over. We're going to chuck him down here, not a big deal. And let's talk about the tornado trap, because now this is where things get interesting. There's several things you can do with the tornado trap, whether it be baiting a king or just having troops swirl around the town hall. And for most of us, I don't think we're going to be wanting to bait kings, especially if you're not trying to build for esports. But if you are trying to build for esports, baiting a king with a tornado trap might be a good idea. And I would say, for the sake of this video, I think we're just going to keep it behind the town hall, because that's, you can never go wrong behind the town hall. And we're just going to put some red bombs here, because in case people do loon blimps, these red bombs are going to be very nice, and they're going to kill all the balloons. And this is also something we have to test in case the balloons are not getting killed. So it's all about testing the traps, right? So that's really something what it comes down to when placing traps, is when you try out the base and adapt it based on what is so strong and what is in your control to stop with the traps. And as you can see, we have 2 skeleton traps still left, so I'm just going to put them in this rage tower compartment just to make it a little bit more annoying. And as far as these spring traps go, I'm just going to put them here to try and kill any headhunters that might be trying to target my enemy heroes. We'll just chuck one more over there, and we are all done. So that's been it for this video and the skeleton base pack. Let me know what you guys did think about this entire base and how it turned out, but this is definitely a great way to enhance your base building skills, improve, and just get better and have some fun as well. That's the whole point of this pack. I will be making a skeleton pack base this month as well, so do look forward to that. That will be a link down below as well, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Clash on.